You know that feeling when you open your banking app and instead of that instant wave of dread hitting your chest, you actually feel calm. Not rich, not set for life, just calm. Like the financial noise in your head gets quieter. There's a specific number where this happens, and most people completely blow past it without realizing what just occurred. Most financial influencers are obsessed with the big numbers. 100,000, a million, 6 figures changed my life. But they're skipping over something way more important. A smaller milestone that quietly rewires everything. Your mindset, your decisions, your entire relationship with money. That number is $10,000. My name is Nick, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, financial psychology, and why some people seem to build wealth almost effortlessly while others stay stuck in the same exhausting cycle for decades. If you want to understand the real mechanics behind wealth building instead of just hoping things magically improve someday, hit subscribe and drop a thumbs up if this video ends up shifting how you see money. Now, before we get into why $10,000 is the real turning point, let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you made a financial decision from a place of confidence instead of fear? For most people, the answer is rarely or never, and that's not a character flaw. That's what survival mode does to your brain. Here's what's actually happening beneath the surface. There are certain financial thresholds that act like invisible walls. Cross them and the entire game changes. Not just mathematically, psychologically. $10,000 is the first wall that most people never break through. And the wild part? Most people don't even know it exists. Think about pushing a car that's stalled in the middle of the road. The first few feet are brutal. You're straining every muscle, barely moving, wondering if it's even possible. But once you get it rolling, even a little momentum takes over. You're still pushing, but the car is helping you now. $10,000 is the moment your financial car starts rolling. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is the part that will probably surprise you. The difference isn't just that you have more money. The real shift happens inside your brain. When you have nothing saved, your brain operates in what psychologists call scarcity mode. Every single financial decision gets filtered through fear. You take the job you hate because you can't afford to walk away. You stay in situations that are draining you because leaving feels too dangerous. You say yes to things you don't want to do because you need the money. Your brain is constantly scanning for threats. It has no bandwidth left for opportunity. Research from Vanguard shows that even having $2,000 in emergency savings boosts financial well-being by 21%. $2,000. Less than most people spend on a phone or a weekend trip. But that tiny buffer moves your brain out of pure survival mode. Now imagine what $10,000 does. At $10,000, your brain stops asking, "How do I survive this month?" and starts asking, "What can I actually build?" That's not a small shift. That's everything. Now let's talk math, because this is where it starts getting almost unfair in the best possible way. Say you're saving $500 a month and earning an 8% annual return. Getting to your first $10,000 takes roughly 18 months of consistent discipline. A year and a half of saying no, staying focused, resisting every impulse to blow it on something that feels good in the moment. It's hard. Most people quit somewhere in month 4. But here's the part that sounds almost too good to be true. Your second $10,000 doesn't take another 18 months. It takes closer to 16. Why? Because now that first $10,000 is working alongside your contributions. It's generating its own returns. You did the same work, saved the same amount, took the same risk, but the timeline shrunk because your money started pulling its own weight. By your third $10,000, it's even faster. And once you reach $200,000, you're generating that same $10,000 in under 3 months automatically while you sleep, while you're at the gym, while you're on vacation. That's compound interest going from a concept you read about to something you actually feel. And no, this doesn't require some exclusive hedge fund or secret rich person investment club. You can buy the same index funds, use the same brokerage, follow the exact same strategy as someone with $1 million. The only difference is scale. And scale turns small percentage wins into real, life-changing progress. A 10% return on $1,000 is $100. Cool. Coffee money. But a 10% return on $10,000 is $1,000. Money that showed up without you clocking a single extra hour. That's when investing stops feeling abstract and starts feeling real. But here's the most important point in this entire video, and most people completely miss it. When you save $10,000, you haven't just accumulated money. You've proved something to yourself. You demonstrated that you can control money instead of letting it control you. You said no repeatedly over months to the immediate thing in favor of the future thing. That's not just financial discipline. That is a fundamental shift in identity. Before $10,000, you were someone trying to save money. After $10,000, you are someone who saves money. That sounds like a small distinction. It is not. It changes every financial decision you make from that point forward. And here's the career piece, because this is where things get really interesting. Living paycheck to paycheck puts you in the weakest possible negotiating position at work. You can't ask for the raise because what if they fire you? You can't push back on the toxic situation because you need the paycheck. You can't explore other opportunities because 2 weeks between jobs feels catastrophic. You're trapped. And on some level, your boss knows it too. $10,000 gives you walking away money. Not forever, but enough. Enough to quit tomorrow and survive while you find something better. Enough to negotiate from confidence instead of desperation. Enough to say no when something doesn't feel right. And here's what's crazy. You often don't even need to use it. Just knowing it's there changes how you carry yourself at work. You become more confident, more assertive. You take on harder projects. You stop shrinking. And people notice. Better assignments follow. More recognition follows. More money follows. The emergency fund becomes career fuel. But this is also where most people blow it. They hit $10,000, feel that psychological shift kick in, and immediately decide they've earned something. New car, big vacation, down payment on a house they can't really afford yet. And just like that, the foundation is gone. The momentum disappears. They're back at zero, except now they're also dealing with payments. Don't do this. $10,000 is not a reward. It's a foundation. It's the seed. And if you're patient enough to let it compound instead of spending it the moment it feels safe, it becomes something else entirely. Here's a number that will either make you laugh or make you a little sick. The average person will spend more on car payments alone over 40 years than it would take to reach complete financial independence. We're talking $600 to $800 a month on transportation. A vehicle that drops 20% in value the second you drive it off the lot. Money that evaporates instead of multiplies. Meanwhile, the person quietly driving a reliable used car is watching their $10,000 turn into $20,000 turn into $50,000 without working a single extra hour. Once you hit $10,000 and experience that mindset shift, you stop asking, "Can I afford the monthly payment?" And you start asking, "What is this actually costing me in the future?" That $25,000 car isn't $25,000. It's $25,000 that could have grown to over $150,000 in your investment account over 20 years. Suddenly, the older Honda doesn't feel like settling. Feels like a strategy. And the beautiful irony? The person in the flashy car is stressed. The person in the Honda is sleeping fine. $10,000 isn't going to make you rich tomorrow, but it will completely change how you think about money, about work, about opportunity, about your own potential. It's the line between reacting to your financial life and actually designing it. Start building that foundation right now, because the version of you 5 years from now is being determined by the decisions you make today. Trust me, they'll thank you for it.